fire.
Baseline dropping from the heaven.
Dakota sounds like Chuck Allen right now.
Probably what? 37 people already.
Not that Chuck Allen. Papa.
Oh, Grant. Sorry.
All right, I guess we'll start talking. What do we got? 4:06 p.m. here on the East Coast. You got boots on the ground, Brandon Brown and Zach Bisa down here in Orlando, gearing up for Michigan's bowl game against Texas. Been to a couple media opportunities already, been to some practices, been to Kyle Whittingham's introductory press conference, which is that'll be the primary focus of what we're going to talk about today. We got Dakota back there holding it down in the great frozen state of Michigan, unable to make the journey down. I actually don't even know if we would have been able to get 3 credentials. I found that out yesterday, talking to some of the media folks, that they were a little bit picky with those. But anyway, Dakota's here with us.
Sponsorship here with Cheez-Its.
We got the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, the official backdrop. This is where they did the coordinator press conferences this morning with some players. Texas went first, then Michigan. Then we went over to the team hotel, and that's where Kyle Whittingham was introduced as Michigan's new head coach. And yeah, it's been a busy day already, busy couple of days. Got over to West Orange High School. We only get 15 minutes of like B-roll, take some photos, watch the players stretch, and then they kick us out of there. Who was it that was yelling at us to get kicked out?
Oh yeah, Winks, like, you guys getting him out of here?
Screaming across the field, get him out of here, Dave!
One within barely the first snap of the punting team out there. So
yeah, so it's been pretty low key. The team got in the same day we did, but later on in the evening, and it was really they just kind of walked into their hotel, and that was the end of that. And then yesterday we got a chance to go see them, like I said, at West Orange High School. Talked to Bryce Underwood, talked to Cole Sullivan, talked to Bryson Kuzdal, and then watch practice for 15 minutes. And then today, the press conferences that I mentioned this morning, and then the big
whammo.
The big deal. Kyle Whittingham officially announced. I mean, that's been for a day or two, but introduced as the Michigan head coach and talking to the media. Dakota, I know you were watching. I mean, tons of people watching it on the Big Ten Network. Dave Abloff, sports information director at Michigan, thanked the Big Ten Network for broadcasting it. I mean, that's obviously very short notice to get something like that on TV. Dakota, since you weren't here, I mean, I don't know, what were the people on the Big Ten Network saying about the hire? Because it seems like, depending on who you ask, if you ask Arizona State fans, if you ask Alabama fans, Michigan can't hire anybody. They can't find anyone. But then they go out and they land Kyle Whittingham, and people are just freaking loving it, dude. Like,
it's been overall popular in like positive consensus across the board. I mean, everyone seems to be like, we did our vetting process, and it, because of that, this is the right guy. And so, in hindsight, you like to believe that they made the right decision. And to me, I mean, it's weird that you got Whittingham and Dillingham, right? That's really
a lot of hams.
A lot of hams to choose from right there. But I don't know. To me, like, anything was better after we found out what we found out, because it was like, man, where was our head at for the last year of this program, right? It was Strone really wasn't as focused as he probably should be as a head coach, and now all the chips fall in front of you, and everyone's kind of like sitting there wondering, like, what's going on, right? What are we gonna do? And there's really, you look and you try to find some bad stuff to find about this guy, right? Because that's their job, right? You really got to try to dig deep and to find some things, give you reasons not to hire this guy, and it's just like no one could find any. And from what
age would be the close. I mean, the only thing people are really, but I mean, that's a reach. Like,
dude, the dude looks like he could just still win a bodybuilding contest.
We noticed his arms today. We're like, jacked. Dude's just lifts weights
on TV. I mean, the dude, he didn't look tired. He said he was tired. He didn't look tired on TV. He looked present, like he meant everything he said. It looked genuine as it could be, as fast as this thing has moved, right? Because I mean, he's probably still trying to take all of what's happened in with this coming up that he's going to do, and it's a lot. So, but yeah, positive overall.
Yeah, we as soon as he walked in, he was just like, no nonsense. Like, I'm just here. I don't like to talk that much. Let me just get right into it. And he's been doing it for so long. I mean, he was at Utah for 21 years, at the program total for 32 years. So tons of consistency, knows who he is, knows what he wants to do. There's no, he's not going to be figuring anything out. I mean, yeah, the settings change and the conference is different. He's got new players and new colors, but I mean, he as a coach, he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's not going to waver from that. He's going to get incredible support from Michigan, way more resources, way more money, way more recruiting prowess out there on the trail. I mean, every single thing he did at Utah is going to be amplified at Michigan. And that was one of the things he said actually too, was that like it's just bigger, like it just already feels bigger than it ever really did at Utah. And he was really freaking good at Utah. Like anytime you saw Utah on a game or on a TV against anybody, you'd be like, they have a shot, like they might win.
Harbaugh, he's beat every Michigan coach, the last 3 Michigan coaches.
He's 3-0 against Michigan. He beat
Hoke,
Richrod, and Harbaugh. He talked about that today. So
Harbaugh's first game back at Michigan as a head coach, even
that was
and he played.
I remember that game.
Coached as a defensive coordinator against Michigan against Lloyd Carr.
He said he lost that one. That
by
was
like 3 years short. It was a slow scoring game. He said, but he was working under Urban Meyer at the time, and it was the DC. Yep.
So I just think he freaking nailed every question he was asked. That's kind of going to be our outline for what we talk about today. Just for those of you joining in right now or still joining in, we're going to stay on for maybe 20-25 minutes. And I just put up an article over at WolverineRoundtable.com about the most interesting things that he said. Usually I do 2. Usually I do 3. I'll try to find 5. I had to cut it down to 7, and there were more that I could have picked. Honestly, like you could have
used every point. I mean,
he was
just about every question he answered. I was like, oh, dude, I love that. Oh, I love that. I love what he's saying. And look, it is a press conference. I'm not like, oh, Michigan for the title. Like I'm not going there. But he answered everything in a very strong, confident way, and that's to be expected because he's so experienced, like I said. But I mean, dude, the things he said about Bryce and the things he said about the offense and the things he said about his assistants and recruiting. I'm kind of going down my list ahead of time here, but like he nailed it. I mean, everything he said was believable. And Zach and I were talking about this too. For a guy who does have a ton of energy and does work out, he just was
smooth,
just chilling.
Yeah,
he's just chilling, just up here answering questions.
Just straight business, laid it out there. And
one thing I really like that he did,
he gave you like real answers, not just like, for instance, when they asked like if he's going to bring people in, he didn't just say like, yes, I plan on bringing some. And he like gave us a number, even
gave us numbers, hard numbers about what he's planning on doing.
7 or 8, he's going to bring in of his own guys, keep 2 to 3 here, and I mean that's very brutally honest. But you didn't. I feel like other coaches would beat around that question,
Yeah,
they don't want to give you anything, but yeah, I loved what I heard, and you should, as a Michigan fan, you should be happy with what happened today.
Media people, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years now. Like you love it, and it's so noticeable when a coach does something like that, as opposed to
it gives you something.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you can really take. You can really hang an entire article on that if you want. Like the fact that he talked about the specifics of his coaching staff. So I thought that was good. Dakota, do you have something you wanted to add real quick before we get into this?
Yeah. It just. You go back to like when the new hires, like big hires at different universities, like when Brian Kelly was hired at LSU, like that's the extreme example, like changing his accent. And there was like 0%.
Still funny.
So and so when he was up there, it's just like, man, this guy isn't like, I mean, yeah, he's gonna probably know his team, and he gets in the locker room, gets with his routine, his practices, and his training. He's going to develop some sort of like, okay, we really don't like Ohio State around here. But he wasn't like, I hate you know what I mean? It was just like, I just got here, just trying to get my reins under me, and I'm just trying to know my players, my team, because that's the most important thing right now. He answered every question good, but he wasn't like trying to be someone he wasn't, and that was cool to see.
Just
it wasn't being a salesman type
there was
thing.
No act.
Yeah, it was just genuine answers. I mean, real guy. Yeah.
As much as we all in college football seem to love Kurt Signetti and everything he's about, when he got the job at Indiana, he's like, and Purdue blows, like he just went, like even that seems a little out of character for him because of how he normally is. But that's a great point. They asked, like, do you hate Ohio State? He's like, I guess I do now. Like, that's such an honest answer,
I mean, he has history with Urban Meyer, still looks up to him, still mentored by him. He told us he talked to him even,
Talked to him about getting this job.
Right.
So it was just all very, very candid, very open. And you honestly feel like everything he said up on the stage there, he probably said to his wife when he was taking the job, or his other assistants when he was leaving. Like, it just felt like that's how he is and who he is.
Or the thousands of previous players that messaged him. He said he got 1,000 texts from previous players. So, I mean, he seems like a well-liked guy with, you have to be if you're going to be coaching at the school for 21 years.
Yep.
You have to be liked, I mean, by the administration, by the fans,
And
by the
for
players.
that long too, for them to be zero blemishes.
He has integrity for sure.
It's like,
yeah, squeaky clean. He, we'll get into the kind of his 3 pillars. I think,
and he even explained that he bowed out. Like he didn't say that. One of the reporters specifically asked if he was like pushed out of the school, and he said everything was good. On the schools, and the administration was real supportive of him, and he didn't feel like he needed to leave. He just wanted to leave.
So some Utah fans have been on social media saying like, yeah, we just got rid of him, and now you have him. Like, congrats. But like, you can maybe make that point if it's after 3. Dude, he's there for 21 years. Like
they went 10-2. It wasn't a bad season.
They didn't run him out of town. I mean, maybe it was time for a change, and he felt it, and they felt it, and it just kind of happened. But like, dude, he's there for 21 years. He did not get run out of town. And like Zach just said, they went 10-2. Yeah. Like they had a really good.
They might make a statue
season.
Sort of like name a
yes,
they probably named something after him. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. All right, so. Geez, dude, already 12 minutes in. I don't know how much time we'll be able to spend on each one of these points. Maybe I'll pick out a couple of the ones that I really liked. I think the very first one that I outlined, and one of the first things he kind of said when he got up there was, I'm just really looking forward to meeting with these players and getting to know everybody. He's like, and I already met with one player, and you can probably guess who it is, and that was our quarterback, Bryce Underwood. And I told Zach, like, I love a couple things there. First of all, that he identified and recognized, I got to talk to 19 immediately. Let me get in there. Let me get in front of him. Let me sell him on what I'm doing. I'm on the vision. And then also that he used the words our quarterback, Bryce Underwood. He didn't say like the quarterback or even say his name first. He said, that's our quarterback. And I think that just kind of speaks to those little intricacies that he's learned about being a head coach and how to deal with people. And I mean, Dakota, dude, like, we talked about it a lot. Zach and I have talked about it since we've been here. I've mentioned it multiple times. Bryce Underwood threw 9 touchdown passes as a freshman. I would guess that Kyle Whittingham looks at that and almost laughs. Like, how?
Dude,
he's
6'4", 225, won 2 state championships in Michigan. Like,
record-breaking high school career.
He knows how to play, but it's not technically his fault if he's like, okay, run this play and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta get. There's some of that. So
whether it was scheming receivers open or just forcing the run too much, and then also not using Bryce as a runner.
We looked up the difference in the running plays for Bryce and the Utah's quarterback, and it was double. Utah had more than double QB runs than Michigan this year.
Yeah, and it's just, Devin Dampier was the quarterback at Utah. He transferred in from New Mexico, and I'm not knocking. He was great for Utah this year, but Bryce Underwood was the number 1 recruit in the country and viewed as one of the best quarterback prospects in a decade, maybe. And you've got to be able to get more out of him. I don't care if he's a true freshman. I don't care if the receiving room's not good. You got to get more out of a kid like that. And Whittingham, you don't coach for 21 years and not, figure out ways to get the most out of your guys. And he did that at Utah because they didn't recruit that well out there. And it's not because he can't recruit. It's because it's freaking Utah.
Yeah. I mean, Bryce did not get like noticeably better over the course of the first year, and I don't want to put a lot of that on him because he has all the physical and all the mental attributes to make it happen. It just sad, when the coaches aren't there.
Just standing next to Bryce yesterday, his hips are like up to my shoulders. It seems
he's big.
Dude
man.
has some legs, like just a very good physique.
You just look at the kid and you're like, dude, he
could be a linebacker.
The genetic lottery you have to hit to be built like that. It's just like, it's crazy, dude. He's just built to
long legs, just ready to run. Like, let the gazelle go. Like,
exactly.
What are we doing? Just handing the ball off and making bootleg fake bootlegs out for.
I think another comment that he said, and this will resonate well with people in the state of Michigan when it comes to football, and I mentioned this in the article. He said that'll be the trademark and identity of this football team: physicality, toughness, and grit. And I'm like, well, people in the state of Michigan eat that up whenever Dan Campbell says it, especially if you can do it. And with Whittingham, he can do it because he has for 20 years. Like, it's not lip service. He even said, like, not in a gloating way or a bragging way at all. He said, we've always had the most physical team in our conference, and like
whatever conference it was,
40 points a game. Like, I get maybe the defenses are different, right, that he's facing, but still, like, he's putting up some big numbers for football scoring, like
And he's
fifth in the nation.
Yeah, he's talking about
Him and his OC.
He's talking about winning the trenches, and you
That's what you want to hear.
You can start if you can run the ball and stop the run, you're gonna have a chance to win every game. He talked about a lot of things like that. Like if you can do this and this, you got a chance. If you can do that and that, you got a chance. And I think you marry all those things together. He just gets it, dude. You can tell you can't do it for that long at that level and not get it. So, like I said, that's in the state of Michigan. And there's probably some people who are jumping off the Dan Campbell train a little bit, a little bit right now, but
sputtered out a little.
But that blue collar, working hard, gritty, tough nose.
Michigan's been that under Harbaugh, right? I mean, he had the jackets and wanted to be physical and manage the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just that overall philosophy is going to be something that can fit in.
Fits the school
right away. Yeah. Like it's not in. Yeah, he's from Utah and he's only ever lived out west, and this is not like his stomping grounds. But how he conducts himself and who he is like. It's plug and play. It feels like it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. But
sounds good right now.
Yeah, definitely. He was saying all the right things. We talked about this one already. Zach brought it up. I thought it was great. This is a direct quote. Of the 10 full-time coaches, 7 or 8 new guys and 2 or 3 holdovers. I mean, like that's as specific as it gets. He talked about not mentioning any names yet because the guys
they're still in some bowl games and still playoffs, so he can't name everyone or anyone yet. And I don't think they've agreed to their contract yet.
Right.
It's just all so new. But I'm assuming we're going to hear that in the next week or two. At least by the end of the season, end of the bowl season.
That was really interesting. How fast this really moved along. I read a couple of timelines. I don't really know how accurate they were, but I mean, just knowing what I know, they were pretty close. I'm just like they contacted him and they did their process with him, and like I said, he was ready. Like I said, maybe 3 or 4 other phone calls might have got his attention, but other than that, he was. He wasn't going to pick up.
Yeah, so. He told us that he had his schools narrowed down once he was stepped aside. He's like, I will come back to college football. I have some fire left in me if these certain schools call, and Michigan was one of them on his list, and so it was a match.
It's got to make you feel good
away. I don't think
he even as a player.
Well, he said he did. He told us he didn't hesitate. There was
He even told a story about when he was 7 years old. I don't know where he was born in California, but then went to high school and college in Utah. So I'm not sure where he was at this point, but out west somewhere in Dakota. Anybody who watched it, he talked about. He was 7 years old watching football by himself. It was Michigan, Ohio State, Bo and Woody, and he was hooked ever since. And
he's watched Michigan in some,
even though he's not here, Michigan was one of. Yeah, you go back to he's 66. You go back to the 70s and 80s. There were like 10 teams that were on TV a lot, and Michigan was one of them. That's
Notre Dame
back then.
Yeah, Notre Dame would have been another one. Probably USC, maybe a little bit.
USC, Texas,
but So I thought that was really cool, and. Again, just like everything else he said, you could tell like that wasn't a BS story. Like he remembered that from his childhood, whether he didn't know he was going to coach Michigan back then, but it's that memory stuck with him. So I thought that was really cool. Zach and I talked about this, Dakota, and I don't expect you to have the exact answers or hit a bullseye here, but who do you think might be retained? We were trying to come up with some of the names on the staff, that might be. Is it?
I only have one that I feel kind of confident about would be Tony Hufford, right? Because for one, he even mentioned it today.
He has a little bit of a connection.
His Tony's brother, who had passed away, I guess, was working for Whittingham, so there's already that family connection. He knows the family. Not only that, but I mean, he did recruit a baller 5-star running back that you'd probably want to keep if you could keep the assistant coach.
I mean, he left it very professional too. An open ending saying we'll see how that goes and that
and then I know that Lou's son is a committed recruit too, so maybe and he's did a good job with D-line. Maybe he'll keep him. That would be my other guess, and I don't know, a toss up for the third that I would assume. I don't know.
Even is
yeah, he did say it could be.
I would say keep Alford and just bring him in, baby.
I mean,
just one, huh? Okay.
If he cleans house, dude, you can't.
Well, Coombs was one that's predicted online a lot.
Yeah, Combs
because of the special teams.
I guess I didn't think about that because it was.
And he's Ohio State. Maybe he's connected with Urban Meyer too. There may be Whittingham maybe have a connection with him because of Urban. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Real quick, when you've coached as long as Whittingham, the networks that you create,
so many people.
I don't know if he knows any of the guys on Michigan. Like the fact that he brought up that he knew Alfred and his I had no idea that was the case. So
Yeah.
yeah, you wonder about I know a couple of the DB coaches are a little younger. You might not know those guys, but that's a great point with Combs because he's been connected to Urban Meyer and Ohio State, and that's where Combs there's a chance that they know each other. They've crossed paths before. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I thought it was awesome that he gave a number. And maybe it doesn't end up being 2 or 3. Maybe it is only 1. Maybe
that's
it's
what he's
4.
looking at right now.
But
Maybe some won't agree to leave. Maybe he plans on them leaving and they won't.
That's true too. You want to hire a guy and he said, you know what? Something just happened for me here. I'm going to stay.
Yeah,
You never know.
They feel like they may get promoted.
He said he talked to them all, and he said he was pretty real with them all, and he's like, "Hey, this is high level coaching. You guys know what the deal is." Stuff. That's what he said to all the coaches after he introduced himself. But one of the things that he said that I really liked about the incoming recruits, he's like, "You're gonna do things our way. We're not gonna do things your way." He didn't say exactly powerful, like, dude, we already have things set up. This is our structure. You're gonna learn that. We're gonna play football this way. We're not gonna turn into what you bring into the table. To the table.
I mean, dude, he's 66. He's been doing it for 20 years. He's old school. He's not going to cater to some punk kid that's going to come in and try to disrupt what he's doing. And that's not, I mean, that's not to say that's even happened before or that those kind of kids are at Michigan or those are the kind of kids he would recruit. But he's the boss, man. And he knows he's the boss. And you need that. That was, I mean, in hindsight, it's one of the most obvious things ever now, but that was sorely lacking with Sharon Moore. I mean, it wasn't even remotely present.
Was he too buddy with the players? I mean, there was
I had thought that at times before, it seemed forced. They'd be sitting up at the table for a press conference. He'd be like, "Hey, there, boys!"
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it wasn't a two-way.
Or people walking by, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Or you're like,
"Yeah." I'm like, dude, Saban is not giving shout outs to his players as they're walking out of practice.
Hey, you're not going to tell me about what happened, are you? You're not going to tell me, man. We're boys.
Huh? That just seemed a little. And I don't think I ever brought it up before. I remember kind of half thinking it, but in hindsight, it looks like the weirdest thing ever now. It's like he was trying to.
Hey, we're good, right, man?
Yeah.
It's just like with parenting and anything, like with those levels, right? You just can't cross that line. Once you do, you just don't have that respect. You don't have that,
Pop up Nick's comment. That's funny.
We got a funny comment here from Nick Kafkalis. Yeah, okay. He gave the phonetic spelling.
He knows.
The upgrade from Sharon Moore is the big difference between my coaching acumen to Bill Belichick's.
The biggest difference.
I said that too. When they were it was Dillingham. Okay, it's DeBoer. Okay, I'm like, dude, it honestly doesn't matter. Whoever it is going to be a massive upgrade. Michigan is falling forward. There's no doubt. And that feels like you're piling on Sharon Moore a little bit, but he was in over his head from the beginning. And now when you find out all the other stuff that was going on.
Just that presser felt different than the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I
mean, let's see. Oh, back to the last couple points here as we're getting towards the 23-minute mark already.
My dog's an upgrade from Sharon. Wow.
Yeah. Woof, woof.
Wow.
Oh, baby, Colby.
Here they come.
Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork now to talk about Sharon Moore.
Poor guy.
The fifth point that I put out there, his quote, he was asked about not being from the Midwest and being a West Coast guy, Utah guy, California guy his whole life, basically. He said, his quote, "I think that might be overrated a little bit as far as geographically where you come from." And I thought the way he answered it was really good because he didn't dismiss it. He didn't say "Oh, that doesn't matter." He said, there is some of that, but Michigan's a national brand. I'm going to have assistant coaches who are familiar with everywhere. And even me as a Utah coach, I have some connections in Florida, in Texas, in California. Those are the hotbeds of talent. You got to recruit there. Michigan has been recruiting there, and I think that's going to continue. So I just thought he answered that question just really, really well. He did acknowledge, I'm not from Ohio. I'm not from Michigan. I'm not from the Midwest, but it's going to be all right.
And he explained he's going to bring assistants from all over that are going to be able to touch all regions. He knows people.
Cast that net everywhere, he said. Cast that net from coast to coast.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's going to be east to west. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so kind of in summation, pump the block M. He talked about the size of the brand and what it's all about. Hire good assistants and then lean on the network that he does have because – yes, he was at Utah. Yes, he was out west. But the amount of people you come in contact with when you coach for that long, he might have had a great connection with some high school coach in Utah who's now a head coach somewhere in Ohio. That's the kind of way that it works. Yeah. And a lot of those guys do kind of stay where they're at, but he'll be. I have no concern.
He already talked about even recruiting heavy in Michigan because he was known for recruiting heavy in Utah, and he understands he's got to build relationships with the Michigan high school coaches, so he's going to get to work doing that. Whether it's him or his assistants, they're going to be recruiting Michigan. And I see there's a 5-star 2028 QB coming up that they may want to already target.
Yeah,
Cass QB. So I mean that's good. for instance, Dante Moore is ready to be a high draft pick in the draft, and we missed out on him as a Michigan graduate, a high school graduate. So
Yeah.
So it's
hopefully we
gonna
don't
be
miss out on
interesting,
those.
too.
And Carr too.
It's going to be interesting too with the playing field. Michigan and Michigan State are two of primary programs that a lot of these high school kids want to go out and play for, right? And so you got Fitzgerald, not new to the Big Ten, but new to Michigan State, and then you're going to have Whittingham, new to Michigan, and they're just going to be out trying to get the best of the best, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
They're both just all about. I mean, I really like Pat Fitzgerald. I know he was not overly successful at Northwestern, but it's the same kind of argument. Like, it was Northwestern, dude. Like, they can't recruit the same kind of players. And then he got in trouble for whatever he got in trouble. He kind of felt like the scapegoat a little bit. But every time I've ever interacted with him at Big Ten Media Days, like, he's just all about ball, and that's how Whittingham seems to. He's talking about, there were jokes made about his Instagram account.
Right here, we got someone comment about.
Yeah, Whittingham only follows 5 females on Instagram, and they're all his family members, and he hasn't posted on the gram in 11 years.
So it's that 2 chance guaranteed after that. I saw that.
Yeah. So, he just
probably doesn't even know what OnlyFans is, So
yeah, we were talking about that on the way down. You think he even knows what that is? And
anyway,
the last thing as we get ready to put a bow on this episode here for 30 minutes or so, Zach and I. So
we were right away ecstatic.
Just so pumped about this. So he was up at the podium for 25, 28 minutes or whatever it was. Then he did a little break on TV, and then did a little breakout off to the side for 5 or 6 minutes where we could just, there were 30 people.
The media were there. We could ask him questions just like more intimate and not on the big broadcast.
And then and somebody, I don't remember who it was, asked, I think it might have been Alejandro. Somebody asked him you mentioned earlier that you think that the offense is going to fit Bryce to a T and that he'll thrive and that he'll look like a pro. Like, why is that, or what's it going to look like? And he said, it's spread. It's a spread offense with 11 personnel being the base. We're going to run the football. We're going to be explosive. And it's just like, dude, that's what every single Michigan fan has ever wanted to hear. Dakota, Zach, and myself, we all wrote an article about our Christmas wish list.
Throw it downfield.
And number 1 on all 3, without us talking to each other, was just a competent passing offense that looks like what the forward pass is.
I get we need to run and are going to run, they are going to run, but get a passing game so you can open up the run.
Best you have to arguably probably pass the ball just as well as we throw the ball.
Yeah, run the ball. Yeah,
some teams that are better that more than once, but when it comes down to it, when the games get tight, you need to be able to make those plays downfield.
Well, we're always on eggshells as a fan. A Michigan fan will always be on eggshells at 3rd and long.
I know
you can't run it up the middle typically.
I guess Ohio State. I just closed my eyes. I didn't even want to watch when it was. I mean, Ohio find a penalty against us when it was like 3rd down.
Yes, to make it 3rd and 5.
I'm like, oh, like that. Even everyone in the press box was like, okay, like that's pretty rude.
I think I tweeted something about that actually. I'm like, Ohio State just declined a penalty and gave Michigan a 3rd and 5 because they have no fear of it.
Not scared.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
You wouldn't see that very often.
Yeah. So I've talked about this on the other podcast that I have with Grant Perry, where we looked at Chip Lindsey's personnel stuff when he was at North Carolina. So me and Zach were talking about this. 11 personnel means 1 running back, 1 tight end. Michigan ran 12 and 13 personnel a lot. 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 3 tight ends. 13 personnel, Chip Lindsey literally did it like less than 1% of the time when he was at North Carolina. Then he gets to Michigan,
so you wonder,
and suddenly he's doing it 30% of the time. It just...
someone has a hand in that.
I just would love for it to actually look like it's supposed to, with 11 personnel, with some spread, with some 4 wide receiver. Maybe, oh my God, dude, maybe run a play without a tight end on the field. Like, it's not illegal to do that. They're like, Michigan can't take the tight ends off the field.
5-line Kiwi blast.
Amen, brother. Amen. Automatic first down when you got 6'4", 225.
Yes. Let Bryce stretch out and get a first down.
And then, Zach brought up earlier how we looked up the running numbers for the quarterback too. Like, dude, Bryce is too good to not use him like that. And so
you would think he's a pocket passer by his stats,
There's just no
wonder he had no injuries this year. He didn't even get touched.
Well, he is healthy. That is one thing. He is healthy, but yeah, he has some wheels that you could use,
I remember earlier in the year that I think it was the first game that Sharon was suspended, right, at Nebraska, and they had that quarterback draw where Bryce scooted in untouched. He hit 21 miles an hour. It's like, dude, that's one of the fastest speeds in the country on those analytics, dude. How are you not utilizing that 10, 15 times a game?
Urban Meyer would have went wild with that kind of QB back there.
Yeah, so I just... I loved everything he said. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say Michigan's going to win every single game that he coaches, but like I think the way that it played out, where people thought maybe it's DeBoer, maybe it's Dillingham, maybe it's Jed Fish. I think there were some pipe dreams with the NFL guys that had Michigan ties.
I
like
was one of those.
Jesse
That was
Minter. I mean, they've been great, but if
Mike Tomlin.
even if you just, I don't know if it's true or not, but even if you backed into this, it feels
good.
It feels really
if
good.
you're a fan of Michigan, you probably feel good today.
Yeah, it feels.
I
really,
saw
really
something
good.
so funny, and it was like you get rejected at the bar all night by 6s, and then you go home with a 9 at the very end of the night. I was like,
Have any of us been there?
Oh, wow, no comment.
6s to 3s. I guess.
My
I don't
wife
know.
is watching anyway.
Yeah, but no, I mean, seriously, like I don't know. We'll never see the list. We'll never see Ward Manuel's list and who was in what order.
Or the regions.
I really don't care. I don't care where Kyle Whittingham was at because I think it's a great fit. I think he's going to do really well.
I haven't seen many people that hated it. I haven't seen.
He also talked about, and this I didn't even put. This was another really good point that he made. You know, he talked about having juice and having desire to coach, and somebody asked him like, "How much?" He's like, "Well, I signed a 5-year deal and I intend to see it out."
Yeah. He's like, I feel young. He's like, I'm not that old. I'm 66. He said, I'm not that old in his words, but.
I don't know, man. It was just refreshing after he got done.
He's healthy enough. I'll tell you that. Like getting up close, you're like, this guy works out. You know, he just
drinks water.
He could probably play on
skiing.
the team.
He enjoys skiing, golfing. He's like active. He's like, I have more hobbies than most coaches. He says so. Maybe that'll keep him young. I don't know.
In 1981,
staying out of trouble.
Oh yeah, he's an athlete. I mean,
he was the player of the year, defensive player of the year in his
neck roll linebacker. His dad's a linebacker coach. He loves defense. Like.
Maybe that's what Fitzgerald was a linebacker too. Maybe that's probably a trait. That's probably a trait.
It was cool to see his grandkids switching their favorite team to Michigan instead of Utah on NCAA 20.
The bowl game is sponsored.
Dad, the bowl game, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, dude. Come on, man. Scott Brown.
We're at the official press box location. Not many people can do this.
This right here was Wink and Kasula and Jordan Marshall.
It's still warm from Wink sitting down earlier today.
Yep. I can tell right where Wink was sitting.
Anyway.
By the way, Wink Martindale in here with zero Michigan gear. None.
Very interesting. I noticed that right away.
He was just wearing, he looked like a
navy blue, but no M on it.
He looked like a 2K, like
not even on a hat, not even on a shoe, on a shorts, nothing.
Yeah. Even that backpack he had yesterday, it was like he had this amazing leather Jordan backpack, but it was not.
Also, rumor was he didn't fly in with the team.
He didn't arrive with the team. Yeah, he was checking.
He's gonna coach and just take it home.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some inside scoop from Boots on the Ground there.
You think CJ? Come on, dude. You think these dudes could get a sponsor like Cheez-Its? I think Cheez-Its would be lucky to have.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
We could have some Cheez-Its at our round table.
But
we're sponsored by Dollar General, actually.
We're hitting the 33-minute mark here. Zach and I are going to try to find a little bit of sunshine outside for a bit here.
It's
beautiful here in Florida. We got the hospitality room opens up at 6 o'clock. We'll be having some dinner. More content coming at WolverineRoundtable.com.
Check us out, boys. A lot of good articles firing off this week.
There's so much stuff this week. Like we had players yesterday. I haven't even really done anything with that yet. The Whittingham stuff obviously dominated today. We talked to the coordinator.
Aldi brand.
We talked Aldi brand.
Chris Berkshire.
We talked about. I'll finish on this. We talked about how. Okay, so we talked to Kasula today. We talked to Wink today, and they were good. Like I wrote a Wink Martindale story. He got choked up about the
Wink
reality
took it to heart. That was good.
Of this situation. Like he's like, there's families, there's kids getting pulled out of school. Like it's not, I
put
get
it in
that
perspective for us. Like on Twitter and social media, we do see like a lot of crazy action, and he's like, dude, the reality is like these are people's lives. Like
human aspect, right?
And he got choked up. He had to take a drink of his coffee and make a joke, to
get
out of it.
He's like, this is real life for us and them.
You feel bad. You do feel
he's
bad.
older, but there's young guys on the staff with, school age kids. And
there's
stuff
plenty
like
of young coaching.
But I was going to say that that was great. And I wrote an article about it. But then as soon as we went to Whittingham, me and Zach were both like, why would we even put anything up about Kasula and like it just doesn't like Whittingham's going to steal the show right now. And obviously it'll be about the game and the players in Texas and Michigan, as the game gets closer. But the Whittingham stuff is it's huge. It's just
he's already at the practice. He was at their practice today. He said he plans on being in the booth for the game and in the shadows, but he's involved. He's going to be involved all week. So
he also said though that he was going to just kind of step back.
Step back.
Be out of the way.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, be present.
That
He's
might be-
watching everything at least. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's
Observation,
coaching,
I think he
but
said
yeah,
that.
yeah. But he's paying
That
attention.
might be pretty
He's
hard for
figured
him
out.
to do, but
He's putting the pieces together probably and building a
Talking to
relationship.
guys, yeah. I mean, he's the head coach. He's going to have all the access he wants, but he said he's going to step aside a little bit and let them do their thing. And
Yep. And he said he wants to get in touch with the recruits. He's going to be on the phones, getting in touch with the recruits and their families, and because they have, he said Michigan has the top 10 or 12 class recruiting
Yeah.
class, so he wants to keep maintaining that, and that's his first focus is to maintain the.
yeah, roster retention and recruit retention. That's what he said was job number
So
one.
that may be what he'll be doing from his hotel room on the phone, Zooms, whatever it is, to be in touch with everyone that's not here.
Lots of that. Well, that is
Hey,
30,
we appreciate everyone.
35 minutes of gold, in my opinion, boys.
Wow. Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Cheez-Its. Thank you to Cheez-It.
Not everyone gets to do it in front of the official backdrop.
Thanks to all the Cheez-It folks. There's 0 people in this room.
We're in an empty room, but it is a press room, and that's a real background. That's not a green screen. You could touch it.
yeah,
Real.
hey, cold at the beginning, but it's good. You boys
Boots
enjoy
up.
the sunshine.
Boots on the ground, yeah. So tomorrow there's an event in the morning, like a kids event, but both teams and coaches will be there and some opportunity to talk to the players. Then another practice. They got stuff for us all week. It's pretty cool. Lots of good content coming. So again, WolverineRoundtable.com. Check it out, and then the other 4 network teams in our network as well: Michigan State, Detroit Lions, Tigers, and Pistons. So all that stuff as a part of our Michigan Men Media umbrella. Dakota Allen, Zach Besaw, Brandon Brown. We'll do this again. We'll do another show before the game. We'll talk more game stuff, talk Texas, talk what that might look like. But today was obviously all about Kyle Whittingham's. Yeah, good stuff. So everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back here within the next couple days.